By way of a final update on the sad self-inflicted fate of Ginjiro, Monday's attempts to bury this story were not the only ones made, it seems. Sumo's initial response, according to Gendai Business Today, was to try to bury the whole affair. The provisional plan, apparently, was to keep Ginjiro on after initial suspension and have the embezzled amount repaid from his lump retirement sum in 14 years' time. Ginjiro's admission of guilt came on May the 10th and was clearly within the rumour mill during the May tournament, for which he mysteriously never showed. Yet official confirmation of a probe even going on into an unnamed referee only came on May 26th. Once the media world was properly obsessing over Ono Sato. Only at that point did conversations turn to actually firing Ginjiro, without retirement pay, and, we've just learned, forcing him to sign a pledge to reimburse the whole embezzled amount by some other means. "I will do that no matter how long it takes," Ginjiro felt obliged to say, as they all know where he lives. Elsewhere, we can expect to see a Hakuho interview in the Bunshun magazine fairly soon. He is billing his international sumo project as perhaps the first attempt to reform sumo from without rather than within. We've learned his new company will be based on the land which was supposed to host his new Miyagi-no stable. The long-mooted glass facade, allowing perfect views of the dohyo inside, remains the design in his mind. His allies have well and truly stood up in his aid, with Kashiwa Jr.'s coach Nagai even listed as a director of the new Hakuho firm. Asashoryu, by the way, despite tweeting, "I can't very well spit in the chanko pot that fed me so well," did at least add the famous Japanese proverb, "The nail that sticks out must be hammered down." Although his relations with Hakuho do blow hot and cold, he certainly won't be taking Sumo's side in this clash of heads. Now back to training reports. Oho fought 11 bouts with brother Mudoho and others at his stable on June the 11th. The lack of a touring schedule in June spells the perfect chance to work on the basic stamping and leg movements, Oho said. On tour, I'm mostly having to slide my feet on sheets or on mats, which can nowhere near replicate the feel of the clay. That's why I work on these movements thoroughly now, and in February too. Weight work, rubber bands, and hip positioning I can do on the tour no problem. He's just returned from a short visit to his grandmother's native Akita, which made him feel, in his words, what it's like to be supported by a particular region. "I'm born in Tokyo, you see, and Tokyo crowds back lots of wrestlers." Mudoho, meanwhile, reflected on the 7 straight losses which cost him salaried rank in May. "I was getting forward so well in week 1 that I led myself to believe I could simply win with a good hard charge," he confessed to Hochi Sports. "The full 15 was draining. I had no energy to even go out during my week off post-tournament. And fatigue in the second half meant I was looking for easier ways to win," he continued. "But I've got to show more desire to do all the harder stuff. There was just no zip or variation from me in the second half of May, so I've got to try to find that in the practice ring now. There are some technical things I will have to tweak, but speed and power will remain key to my game. I'm heading back down a level due to poor performance, but I've got to remember that I reached Division 2 on merit, so it's still a case of trusting the process going into July." He also confessed to playing lots of Mario Kart with his colleagues. Meanwhile, on June the 10th, Oshoma went 9-1 against colleague Oshoumi at their Tokyo stable. I'm building on a double-digit performance in May, which contained many good moves, he said. I would, however, like to be on the back foot a little less. I'm now working on a more explosive charge in anticipation of all the top guys I'll be facing in July. Last time I took the lot of them on, I only won 4 from 15. The harder I hit, the more effect my follow-up parries will have. On a rematch with one-time Nihon Sports Uni Junior Ono Sato, he said, "He'll be just as conscious of me as I am of him, so there's no extra pressure. He's my junior and my friend. We did a lot of exercises together back in our uni days, but not so many practice bouts, as we wanted to avoid obsessing over each other when actual tournaments came. We focused on foes from outside our team, and ended up contesting a fair few student finals." Finally, on departing Hakuho, he said, "I'm sad that he's upped and left. It's a real shame, as he's such an amazing man."